I'm actually on time. I'm on time. Almost 1 minute, 2 minutes, but I'm on time. Hey everyone, I'm excited to see you all. Wait. I think I'll get the tripod a little bit lower, just a little bit. Okay. Is it better? Maybe. Hey y'all. Thank you. I'm still, having some issues, but I'm feeling better that I can do it live now. I'm really excited right now. Wait, oh, let me charge my phone. Oh, I'm a bit better because I was not like this a few days ago. I just was, I got really worried, but I'm going to get better. And I've been resting because I really was out. Really? Sorry, noise outside and it's open because it's really hot right now. So yeah, I was kind of a bit anemic and really tired and a bit overwhelmed. So I had to rest. I hated it because I hate doing nothing. But I did it. And I'm going to eat better. I started eating better. I had lentils today and some some raisins and a lot of stuff like this. I'm trying to, eat better so I feel better. I need it. I'm still not in my total energy, but I'm better. I'm relieved. I was really worried, but I'm not. I'm okay now. I'm really okay. Really. I'm going to do all I can to feel better. Yeah. Happy Pride Month, everyone. I have my bracelet there. Thank you, everyone. This is really nice. Thank you. Thank you a lot. Wait. Thank you, Nikia. I'm really sorry if I look a little tired. I feel tired, but not as much as I did before, and I'm really happy doing this right now, so yeah. So I just apologize if I look a bit, yeah, but I'm okay. I need to drink. I have my Powerade stuff right now. It will help me. And thank you for wishing me to feel better on the post, on the not the latest now, but the post before. Yeah, I have to get the rules back. Hey everyone. I mean, sorry. I forgot to put the rules in because I was a bit distracted. Okay. I put the rules back in the description. I can do that. Just a moment, I'm sorry, I forgot. Normally I do this, but I try to be on time. I try to be on time. By the way, I'm sorry, I still haven't posted the Levi and Eren live stream. I'm still waiting for some things and I have to edit it and post it on YouTube too. So episode 9 of Levi and Eren, that already little live, but it was me announcing it and then coming to Instagram to do it because I was with Levi on Instagram doing the live stream and reading fanfiction. It was awesome. I loved it. And we had a lot of fun, both of us. That was really fun. And I'm going to post it as soon as I can, which will be not in a long time. But I want to edit something else, so I have some things to do. Yeah, Levi. Okay, let me get the. Oh, I'm live! I'm live! Wow.
Oh, I'm live!
I'm a genius.
I'm live! Wow. Oh, I'm live!
Oh my god, please. You guys have to hear me being silly. Okay, I'm adding the well, edit video. Of course I'm going to bat eyes at Levi. Okay, copy pasting. Yes, I did it. Oh, I need to. Oh, wait. I need to add Gracy to these rules. Oh, it was not the right one that I copy pasted. Oh, I'll try. I'll try. Sorry, I will be fast. I'm sorry, I'm a bit off, but I'm okay. I'm really okay. I can do it. It just before the rules didn't have Gracie in it, and now she's there. So how to get the real one? I mean the right ones. Because Gracie is our help, you know. Um. Is she's like a mod help kind of. She's helping a lot. Wait. Oh, I didn't paste the rules there either. Ooh, where are the rules? I think they were maybe in the Mother's Day one. Did any of you guys do macaroni or pasta necklace? Okay, I found the one with Gracie now, so I'm copy pasting it. We can do it. Guys, I'm failing. I'm trying. Sorry, I can see your comment, but I'll check it on my computer in a moment. It's complicated. I made it complicated for myself. Oh god. I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. Almost done, really, this time I can do it. I have something to, you know, the live will be a little bit different, but in a good way, I think. It's a little change. Like, I'm not going to read a lot of fanfiction today. I'm going to read one, a longer one. Okay, it's posted. Finally did it. Sorry, it took so much time. Oof. Okay, I'm going to go into live so I can see your comments because there it will be complicated for me to do that. Oh my god, are you using horse emoji? Horses. Right now I'm still waiting for it to charge. Okay, we're gone. We're done. I need my drink. I don't want to hear myself. Food. I love food. Wow, excuse me for the gross noise. This does. Okay. I'm finally there. So I sent you a heart. Thank you for being here and for putting up with me and stuff. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Holly. Hey, Becca. Okay, so I have a fanfiction that I love, and it's kind of long, so I don't think we'll finish it tonight. Maybe we might. I'm not sure. But if we don't finish it tonight, we'll finish it next time. So it's like modern, as you can guess. I don't always dress like what I'm going to read because sometimes I read not just one, and sometimes yeah. I try to do themes still, so I hope it's okay. And I love this shirt. What do you think? Milk, and it says "Gambate" on it. This is cool. Okay. Thank you very much, Nikia. This is really nice. I'm glad you like them. Bonjour, Cathy. Okay, so we're going to read Snow and Silence from elliemoran. And the summary is: when reclusive Eren finds a half-frozen stranger on his front porch, he has no idea how much the encounter will come to change his life, and yet, even as his fascination grows, so do the mysteries around the enigmatic man. Who is exactly Levi, and can Eren trust him? I don't know how it works if I can see, so I get it a bit more. Yeah. It's so complicated reading right now for me. I think it's good like this. Okay. The silence before the storm. There's like chapters titles, so I'm going to say them. It was going to snow. As he pushed open the heavy barn door and stepped out in the bitterly cold winter air, Eren Yeager wondered what exactly the one and only local weatherman had been drinking that morning. The horse-faced idiot obviously couldn't have been sober when he'd come up with a piece of fiction he tried to pass off as today's forecast. Clear sunny day, my ass. In the hour or so Eren had spent smoking out stalls, the patchwork of towering clouds that had filled the sky all morning had solidified into a formless blanket, obliterating any last patch of blue that might have attempted to shine through. An ominous charcoal grey filled the sky behind the main house, blending in gradient shades across the foggy, near-white horizon on the far side of the lake. That very little snow so far this season, only enough to leave patches of white in what shadowed corners the sun didn't touch, and puddles of meltwater everywhere that it did. From the look of the sky and the twang of the blisteringly cold wind, sorry, that was attempting to freeze his ears off, Eren figured there was a good chance winter was about ready to let loose with a full-scale blizzard, which of course meant that the power was going to go out, because it always did. And it also meant that the road to and from town was about to become very nearly impossible. The power going wouldn't be more than irritation. The Shingan China ranch had more than enough generators to keep the barn and house warm and functional. For some of the choices Hanji had made over what would and would not run off the generators would forever baffle Eren. But then, that was fairly typical for anything involving his eccentric adoptive mother. No, what had worried Eren enough that he tried to talk himself into believing that assassin, okay, I'm not familiar with that word, forecasts was what a snowstorm would do to the road. This part of the state was usually well prepared for winter, so from the highway onwards there were usually it wasn't an issue. But the private road that wound around the lake from the ranch couldn't be salted and was covered in ice patches all winter long. And then once you got past the lake road, there was still miles more of flat dormant farmland with nothing to block the wind from blowing away any salt the city tried to put down, or from stirring up ground snow enough to lower visibility to near zero. Scowling at the offending sky, Eren felt the uncomfortable mix of dread and frustration he'd been putting off all day settle firmly deep in his guts. Over 2 decades of dealing with the capricious lake effect weather, and 12 years of being in the same class as the idiot, should have given him enough experience to know putting faith in John's forecast wouldn't end well, but Eren had really wanted to be wrong today, huffing out of breath. He told himself to stop moping. It was going to snow. He had to figure out how to deal with it, or rather, how to deal with his foster sister overprotectiveness. And letting himself freeze to death while he stared at the sky was not going to help. Ignoring the heavy weight in his stomach, Eren wrestled the crossbeam into place across the barn doors behind him and started walking towards the house, stopping his feet to bring the feeling back to his toes. He hadn't quite made it off to the stone ramp leading down from the barn's main floor when he heard someone scrambling up the bank from the lower level. Stepping over, he stretched out a hand to help pull his usually graceful sister up the last of the rocky slope. As she hopped up onto the path next to him, Eren forgot some of his uneasiness and found himself having to work really hard not to let his amusement show on his face. In the winter, Mikasa usually bore a striking resemblance to a very round penguin. She hated the cold with a passion and piled on so many layers she could manage to get on at once. All done, Eren adjusted his pace to his sister's waddle as the sleeping started back towards the large A-frame main house. Yes, I went ahead and fed the cat too. Thanks. Cats didn't generally like Eren, and feeding the semi-feral population that lived on the ranch was one of his least favorite chores. His foster brother usually took care of them, but Armin had gone with Angie on her latest, on her latest research trip, so Eren and Mikasa were splitting his work. The only sound was the crunch of frozen grass beneath their feet as the sleeping walked on in comfortable silence. What were you glaring at earlier? What? Eren glanced over and had to look away quickly, smothering a smile all over again. Mikasa had to twist her whole upper body around to see him. The fur trim edgings, the deep cowl of her hood, blocked what little vision she must have had between the hat pulled low over her brows and the scarf she'd worn around her face. Is that a new coat Armin got you? Yes, stop smirking and don't change the subject. She leaned in and shoved him lightly with her shoulder. You looked upset earlier. What happened? She was always far too observant for Eren's own good, and he wasn't quite ready to approach the main topic yet. Nothing special. I was just thinking your boyfriend needs to find a new line of work, maybe telling fortunes. He's about as accurate. Jen's not my boyfriend, and since when did you listen to the forecast anyway? Usually make sure to be in another room when he's on. Eren hunched his shoulder reflexively. She was right, and he deliberately watched the morning show on the TV in Angie's room so Mikasa wouldn't realize he purposely put himself through his tortures 5 minutes. He didn't know why he bothered trying to hide it, really. He'd always been pretty incapable of keeping anything to himself, especially from Armin or Mikasa. No matter how hard he tried, he forgot to keep it to himself, ended up spilling the secret one way or another, and it just on. Their boots made loud, hollow thumps as they climbed the broad wooden steps to the porch, spanning the length of the house. On the top step, Eren hesitated, watching Mikasa turn and maneuver backward onto the wide porch bench. His mind raced. He wondered if there was any point in hiding his concern anymore. He thought it would make it easier to convince her not to worry if she thought he wasn't worried. But she'd realized, and as she probably had, how much he'd fussed over the weather that morning, and the plan was already shot. Abruptly deciding that there were no point in waiting and giving himself another chance to let something slip, Eren leaned against one of the pillars, concentrating on keeping his voice as even as he could manage. I think I'll drive into town to pick Armin and Angie. Mikasa had pushed back her hood and was busy unwrapping her scarf, but her hands paused at his word. Just like that, Eren? She grinned, clearly expecting him to be laughing too as she glanced up at him, her eyes full of amusement. Eren had figured she might take it as a joke, but he still had to tamp down a small flash of irritation. He turned his head away. The porch was silent for a long second, but Eren focused his eyes on the white vapor of his breath, solidifying in front of his face, not sure what to say. I'm sure both of them would get a kick out of piling on and trying to ride the bike, even in this weather. Ah, sorry, I need to drink a little. Oof. I hope it's okay. It's been a moment that I read out loud. Wow. Okay. Um. Wait, where was I? Okay. As Mikasa started speaking, Eren turned back so he could see her face. There was no trace of amusement left. Her pretty eyes dark and serious as they stood in him. The dogs will probably enjoy it too, but where do you plan on putting all the luggage and the other junk Hanji has most definitely broke back with her. Eren after breath. He tried to maintain eye contact, couldn't, and decided to focus his gaze on the reflection of the trees in the windows just behind Mikasa's head. I'll take the van, of course. He ignored the increasing panic in his chest and forced himself to speak with as little concern as he could manage. You know how much you hate driving in the snow? Always got better marks than you and we had driver's ed in the winter. He shifts uncomfortably, and after all, it's not like I can go to the rest of my life without even getting in a car again. I think it may not be the best idea. Mikasa spoke carefully, gently, as she were considering each word before she let it out. You haven't been able to get in the van for years. You haven't driven anything but a bike since high school. And what if something goes wrong? She bit her lip, her voice trailing off. As the silence lengthened, Eren tried to think of anything he could say. Mikasa was right, but then so was he. She really did hate driving in the snow, and dealing with ice in any form was one of the very few things she did not do well. He hated the thought of her having to drive through the storm. And yet, at this point, the only way he could win this battle would be to turn around right now, walk straight to the garage, and get in the van. The keys would be under the seat, and he could calmly get in and shut the door. He knew Mikasa would let him go, but somehow he couldn't quite make his feet move in that direction. In the end, he pushed away from the pillar and dropped down next to her on the bench as they sat in silence watching the darkening sky swirl over the lake. Eren felt the tension between them ease. With a sigh, Mikasa scoot closer, leaning her head against his shoulder. You know, I've been practicing driving in the snow, I mean. She let herself relax into his side. I bet I'm better than you ever were by now. Eren wrapped his arm around her shoulders, resting his cheek on the top of her head. He felt a fresh flash of amusement at how round and squishy she was in her layers and layers of sweater and padded coat. Practicing where? In your head? Uh-huh. I think I've got the hang of it now. Isn't that what you said the last time we went skating on the lake? And I seem to remember you wound up on your ass about 2 seconds after you hit the high ice. That was different. She stretched out her arms and legs in front of her before curling into his arms again. And besides, ice skating is unnatural. Eren snored aloud, letting the silence envelop them both again as they gazed out over the half-frozen lake. He knew he'd already lost his wand, but I could do it, Mikasa. She pulled away and used her double mittened hands to turn his face so they were eye to eye. I know you could, Eren, and I really love the fact that you'd put yourself through that for me, but please let me pretend to be the big sister on this one. He made himself smile and bumped his forehead to her before standing up. Hey, yes, big sister. He leaned against the wall and started chewing off his boots. But go now so you can avoid the storm. And if it gets bad, promise you all get a room in town for the night. She smiled. Yes, little brother. Eren did his best to suppress his lingering worry, and deliberately concentrated on the sight his sister made struggling with the bulk of her coat as she bent to unlace her boots. You should go for this whole beach wheel more often. I'm sure your boyfriend will think it's cute. He laughed, catching the beanie she threw at him. As long as I'm warm, I don't care. She stepped out of her shoes and set them neatly underneath the bench. Eren's laughter died as he recognized the smile that had appeared on her face. You know, Eren, I think you should get it over with. He knew he'd regret asking, but Eren couldn't help himself. Get over with. You really need to tell John how much he means to you. We all know you're in love with him. I do not. I can't stand that. He was awkwardly hopping on one booted foot with his other boot halfway off as she patted him to the doorway. It's so obvious. You never stop talking about him. Just confess already, or should I tell him? Mikasa! She shot him a grin as she let the screen door slam behind her. Really? Horseface? No. Ugh. It's fun. So, Chapter 2 Blizzard, Part 1. Eren has a harder time dealing with the storms than he expected. Eren didn't whimper as he lay face down in the center of his bed, but that was pride. He was so very, very tired. More than anything, he wanted to be curled up under the blankets, light out, fast asleep, unconscious. His overactive mind had other ideas. Wow, so me. As he flipped over to stare at the ceiling, Eren heard the clock downstairs chime twice. He groaned, scrubbing a hand over his face. On top of dealing with his own usual workload and covering for both Armin and Mikasa, he also had to lock down the entire estate from the storm. For the storm. Add to the fact that he'd been worrying over the weather and his sister since from before dawn that morning, Eren was beyond exhausted. And yet here he was, very much awake at 2 in the morning. It's actually 1 here. The storm hadn't actually hit the Shiganshina area until the evening, long after Mikasa had already sent him a text letting him know she'd reached the Trust Airport and had successfully loaded up the van with Angie, Armin, the dogs, and what Mikasa had ominously described as Angie's new toy. But the storm had looked close enough that they decided to stay in trust for the night. So naturally, the moment he finished wrestling the spare fuel barrels around to the last of the generators, Eren had stripped down to his boxers, grabbed a couple of beers and a box of Pop Tarts for dinner, and sprawled out in the living room couch to watch gory B horror movie. All things that generally resulted in a pinch-mouthed Mikasa hovering at his side, ready to stop him from heading any further down the slippery slope of depravity and poor diet. He's been tired enough that he only just managed to keep his eyes open through the end credit of Day of the Giant Cannibals. So when he saw the thick waves of snow drifting down, he figured he had enough of rebellion for the day. Hot water was one of the things Angie didn't consider vital during poor outage, so a very sleepy Eren had to force himself to take a shower before heading to bed, knowing the power would likely be out in the morning and sponge bath ranked high on his list of least favorite things. He stumbled, I mean, depending on who does sponge bath, you know. He stumbled through the dark as he dropped into bed and he's been on the edge of sleep when his eyes had drifted over to the windows that filled the majority of 2 of his walls. The blizzard had intensified to the point that in the dim ambient light the windows looked opaque, wavering slightly as the wind tossed a solid barrier of snow in swirls and dashes against the glass. His barely conscious mind had registered registered solid walls where there would be clear space and sounded the alarm. At the first click of panic had set his heart racing and his stomach churning. Eren had tried to recall the breathing exercise that Armin had taught him. He tried to tell himself he was being stupid. He knew the only thing pressing against the glass was very cold air and snow. He could open the window and jump out if he didn't mind freezing to death and possibly breaking his legs. The walls behind his bed were exactly where they should be, so sailing was just as far above his head as it always been. The door was not locked. He was not trapped. The blanket was not getting heavier. When he realized he was closer to hyperventilating, right now I can speak, then calming down, he jumped out of bed and flipped every switch and turned on every lamp he had in the room. Standing in the doorway from his bathroom and staring across the windows as he clutched a flashlight in each hand, he felt a trembling ease. The light shining out from the glass penetrated the snow enough to dispel the illusion of solidity, and allowed whatever that part of his mind was that he could not seem to reason with to register that the danger it had sensed was not actually there. His heartbeats approached normal, and apart from the lingering clammy sweat all over his body, he thought the attack had eased enough that he might have a chance at falling asleep before the power cut and sent him back into darkness. Which, of course, was not the way things generally worked, not for him, in this case. 4 long, painful hours later, and he was still trying to shut his mind off long enough to fall asleep. The power was still on, which was a miracle, but that really only meant he was constantly wondering when it was going to go. Giving up, Eren sat up and pulled his legs to his chest, wrapping his arms and his knee around his knees. He scowled at the window, and that was when the light flickered and died. Eren lasted maybe 10 seconds before yanking the blanket off the floor when he'd thrown it, grabbing a pillow and his trusty flashlight, and headed for the door. He didn't bother suppressing his sigh of relief when the handle turned easily under his hand and the door opened unchecked, but he tried not to dwell on it. The second floor bedrooms filled the back half of the house, opening into a landing that stretched across the width of the building and overlooked the vast common area on the ground floor. As Eren stepped out of his room, he looked over to the long polished banister to the wall of windows that started a few feet above the front door and stretched all the way up to the high peak of the gabled roof. The light from the fire he'd set before attending his mini rebellion illuminated just enough that he could see into the depth of the swirling snow outside, and he felt the tension in his shoulders ease. He knew he'd made the right choice, but he wished he could get over the feeling of having lost a battle yet again. Still, he was breathing easier than he had for hours as he padded down the last of the stairs and stepped into the heated black stone floor, wrapping his blanket around his shoulders. Wait. Oh, he walked across to the bronze leather sofa that formed a half circle around the immense fireplace and threw himself on the largest couch. He briefly contemplated pulling out another movie and continuing where he'd left off earlier, but decided he was too comfortable to shift to the other side of the room where another circle of couches faced the entertainment systems that Hanji considered important enough to power by generator over lights or hot water. The house was silent apart from the crackle of the fire, the steady ticks of the grandfather clock in the shadows of the staircase, and the barely audible howling of the wind outside of the heavily insulated walls. He stared up into the shadowy beams of the slanted ceiling far above him, tucked the pillow into a comfortable position under his head, and happily, finally, felt himself relaxing into sleep. I need a drink. Oh! Yeah, I had trouble opening this before. What are you doing, Marble? Sorry, what happened? Yeah, I'm okay, I just needed a drink. Sorry. So I know the story starts a bit slow, but I love it and it's really detailed, so hope you guys like it. Oh, I think I'm having a little break, but not a big break, just a break, talking with you all. Will be short, if that's okay. Thank you so much, Julia. You're really nice. Sorry, I just looked there because I saw you comment. Sorry, I have to try looking there. Thank you, Jill. Yeah. Sometimes I can be good, right? I just realized I needed a little short moment. Um, Drinking and, relaxing my voice. I don't know if you can say relaxing your voice. Woo. Thank you very much, everyone. You're really nice to me. Oh, you're really adorable, all of you guys. And thank you, Paige, for saying this. It means a lot to me. Thank you, everyone. Love you. You know I love you. All of you. Awesome. Excuse me. I always choose this noise when I hiccup. It's not like, having the hiccup, like you can stop. It just happened a few times. Most of the time it happened after I drink. But sometimes it happened randomly and I scare people sometimes. Why did I put the cap on again? Okay, good. And it fell. You know what? I'm not going to put it on back, but I still need to get it. I hope I look good. Oh, I forgot I had this one, but it's not really a problem. I was wearing it when I tried to put on my lens cosplay, the rubber blue thing, but I forgot to get it off. I think this thing is helping me. I have some water as well. Thank you. So, I think I continue now. I'm okay. Oh, I hope you share it with me on Instagram when you do your Mikasa cosplay page. By the way, I love your name. It reminds me of a TV shows that I used to watch on TV. Charmed. I was so fan of it. I'm not into this a lot anymore, but I'd like to rewatch it again. Normally, I just rewatch my show a lot, but I don't know. This one has been a moment. I need to get interested in it again. Okay, happen again. Okay, so we're going to continue. Yeah, Charmed was really cool. My favorite was Piper actually, but I loved all of them. They were all nice. Okay, where is the fake? Back. Okay, Blizzard Part 2. In the freezing temperature outside, the strangers shouldn't have lasted more than 15 minutes after going into the water. For him to have stayed upright long enough to make it to the house was almost unbelievable. But here he was. He should be dead, but he wasn't. And as Eren looked down into the stranger's pale, unconscious face, he felt an almost overpowering resolve spread new strength through his body. He refused to allow this man to die. Eren was nearly asleep when a sound tugged him back to consciousness. Oh, before I start, sorry, I have a question. Should I read the little resume on top of every chapter? Because I feel like it's spoiling. So please send me yes, no, so I'll decide if I read it next time. Oh, so sorry for the pause again. I just need to see your answer so I know next time, and I won't be able to see it after because it'll be too far up. So please tell me your opinion. You're cute. Okay, wait. I don't know. So Becca said up to you. Yes, we do. I think Marble won it. I don't know. Please tell me. I don't. I'm really bad with choices. Like, I'm really bad with choices. So please help me. I don't care either way. I do it because it's there. But if you think it's spoiling too much, I won't. Like, do you want to be surprised? Do you not want to be surprised about what's going to happen? Marble, you helping me so bad. So, should I read the little summary of the chapters every time because sometimes they'll spoil the story? Or so yes, I read it, or no, I don't, and I continue reading. Like, it's okay. Okay, so Gracie say no. Jay will say yes. Okay, I'm waiting for another answer. Becca, you helping me too? Oh God, people, please help me. I need at least two answer more or one. My day is good. I relaxed a little. I was on the phone with a friend of mine that I didn't call for a long time. Bye, Cecilia, if you're here. So sure meant yes. Okay, so I continue reading if that's exactly what you said. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. So I continue reading them. Where was I? So I will back from the beginning of the. I mean, I was just reading the first sentence, so it won't be a problem. Eren was nearly asleep when a sound tugged him back to consciousness. His first coherent thought that was maybe Angie had decided to drag everyone home through the storm. His second was that Mikasa was going to be really unhappy when she saw the evidence he'd been planning to clean up in the morning. And his third was that even his sister had been unable to convince Angie to stay put. Armin had been there too, and he was a master at keeping their foster mother from doing anything too reckless. So even as he felt sleep drifting away, Eren resolutely kept his eyes clamped shut, hoping he could force himself back under once it turned out to be nothing. For a moment, he thought he was right, and he imagined whatever it was. But then he heard it again, two muffled thumps, a few seconds apart. Whatever it was suddenly didn't sound like a herd of cattle crossing the porch, so it probably wasn't Angie. Opening his eyes, Eren shrugged the blanket off and sat up. He could see nothing through the thin net curtains covering the windows on either side of the front door. A flash of light in his peripheral vision, had him whipping his head around, only to relax a moment later as he recognized the creepily glowing gaze of Armin's cat. Moi was perched on the long countertop that divided the kitchen from the living room, and the ugly house cat stared disapprovingly back at Eren before shifting its abnormally large eyes to the front door. Cats all like she's just Oh, so funny when cats do that, and I like it. And I think they actually see things we can't see and hear things we can't see. So this is cats are like mystic. I actually like cats. I'm not like Eren in this speak. I like cats. They're like mysterious. Anyway, or they just pretend to be, but they're really interesting. Um, sorry, where was I? The devil cat had a healthy sense of self-preservation, so Eren doubted it would be anywhere in the vicinity if something like a bear or a wolf was currently standing on the porch. It could be a human. They were miles away from main road. The closest home were on the other side of the half-frozen lake, and while a military base did run along a large portion of the Shinganshina ranch borderline, vast stretches of forest and wilderness lay between that part of the property and the main house. It had to be a branch being thrown around by the wind. It hasn't sounded like a branch though. Aaron eased off the couch, grabbing the heavy steel poker from the fireplace before moving as silently as he could to the window by the front door. He pulled the curtain back slightly. He could see the dim shape of the porch pillars against the grey murk, nothing else. Shifting to stand to one side, Eren gripped the poker tightly in one hand and reached out with the other to slowly twist the door knob. It has barely finished turning when something heavy pushed against the door and yanked the handle from his grasp. The jolt had him jumping back and instinctively slamming the poker downward before twisting his aim aside at the last second when he registered that the object was a human and that the human was in no shape to be attacking anyone. He sucked in a shocked breath and let the poker clatter to the floor. The person had fallen face down halfway across the doorframe. He wasn't moving. Dropping to his knees, Eren pulled at the ice-encrusted shoulder, turning the body over as gently as he could. He put a hand to the stranger's throat. The pulse was far too slow and faint, but it was there. The shallow puff of air he felt when he held his ear against the human's mouth had his shoulders sagging in relief. Evan looked around wildly. For the first time he registered the ice and snow blowing in through the wide open door and piling up around them. Shifting his position, he slid his arms beneath his man's back and pulled, bracing his feet against the unexpected weight on the limp figure. At the last heave, he felt his feet slip out from under him on the wet floor, and he landed hard on his back, the man's dead weight half on top of him. He struggled back into his feet, trembling a little from both the cold air streaming in and the urgency rushing through his body. Aaron slipped back to the doorway and forced himself to take a moment to try and peer through the formless grey of the night blizzard for any sign of anyone frozen or not. Nothing moved apart from the snow. Aaron very much hoped the man had been alone. After wrestling the door firmly Aaron rushed back to the man's side. He was completely coated in a layer of layer, sorry, I don't know what I'm saying. Layer of almost solid ice from his boots to halfway up to his chest. Wherever he'd come from, he must have stepped into a lake at some point. His face was tinted blue and he wasn't shivering. In the freezing temperature outside, the stranger shouldn't have lasted more than 15 minutes after going to the water. For him to have stayed upright long enough to make it to the house was almost unbelievable. But here he was. He should be dead, but he wasn't. And as Aaron looked down into the stranger's pale, unconscious face, he felt an almost overpowering resolve spread new strength through his body. He refused to allow this man to die. His first priority was to get the man's temperature up, but everything he was wearing was thick with ice, so just wrapping him in a blanket wasn't going to cut it. Sorry. It's so hot here. Sorry, I thought you were talking to me. Eren pulled off the man's outer layers. He breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the gloves and boots were insulated enough to have kept his hands and feet dry. His fingers and toes looked easier white than his face, and they didn't have the waxy texture that usually indicated frostbite, so he hoped he wasn't going to be an issue. Working as quickly as he could, knowing he had to be careful not to jostle the limbs too much or he'd risk stopping the man's hurt entirely, Eren stripped off the stranger's shirt and pants. The man was wearing thermal underthings. He'd been prepared for cold. But apart from the boots, nothing was waterproof, so everything he was wearing was now draining in what heat he had left. Sliding over to the kitchen area in his wet socks, Eren grabbed the shears and, walking more carefully on the way back, used to cut the last of the frozen clothing off. In the rush and the flickering light of the distant fire, he didn't bother trying to determine if the shadows that stretched across the man's torso were bruised. He was mostly sure they were. Unless they were dealing with actual broken ribs, severe hypothermia was the biggest danger right now. If he did have a rib broken, there wasn't anything Eren could do but try and move him as gently as possible. Shoving aside the piles of wet clothing, Eren scrambled to his feet and ran to the couch he'd been attempting to sleep on. This time, when he slipped and crashed down to his knee, Eren paused just long enough to strip off his socks before jumping back up. Snatching up his blanket, Eren dashed back and laid it down just outside giant puddles that had collected all around the front door as smoothly as he could. Eren wedged his arms beneath the man's shoulders and pulled until he could get his head into the blanket, and then awkwardly worked the fabric underneath the still figure until the man was mostly on it rather than floor. Grasping the edge, he used the blanket to drag the man across the room to the fireplace, close enough to feel the heat, and then raced to Armin's room. Angie would have been impossible to find anything in, and he and Mikasa were upstairs. He stripped the heavy blanket and sheet from the bed, dumped them by the door, and then rushed to Armin's bathroom, only to pull up short, short as door. Armin's bathroom was long, narrow, and had no windows. In normal light and with Armin around, Eren never went any further than in the doorway. In the dark, all he could see was a deeply shadowed tunnel with no sign of an opening at the other end, and his feet felt like they were glued to the floor. He growled in frustration and braced his hand on either side of the doorway, wheeling himself forward. He couldn't understand why his stupid legs wouldn't just move. He growled in frustration and braced his hands on either side of the doorway, wheeling himself forward. He couldn't understand why. Oh, wait, sorry. I. Okay, sorry, I just had to say it 2 times. I was not focused, sorry. With an exasperated groan, he turned on his heel and ran to the Armin bedside table. Pulling the drawer completely out, he dumped out the contents. He'd been sure Armin would have a flashlight and breathe a sigh of relief as he watched it bounce out onto the bed. Grasping the familiar silver bottle, he stepped back to the bathroom doorway. He was trembling with the strength of the urgency running through him, and his hands made the light bounce wildly around the room, reflecting off the silver fixture and white surfaces, but leaving deep shadows at every edge and corner. The rack he needed was only just inside the room. He could do it. Eren focused his gaze on the center of the flashlight and steady beam. He felt his heart thumping loudly in his chest. He stepped into the room, placing each foot deliberately. It seemed to take far longer than he knew it did, but his breath was starting to hitch when he finally reached the shelf. Grabbing the stack of towels he bolted, almost gasping, he scooped up the pile he'd left by the door and ran back to the stranger, carefully not to jostle the man's lips. He pat him down with one of the towels, getting him as dry as possible before throwing Armin's blanket over him and tucking the sheet around his head. He raced to the kitchen and stuck one of the towels in the microwave, taping his foot desperately trying to recall any more details from the first aid lessons Armin had made all three of them take back in high school, while he waited the agonizing minute for the microwave to ding, sorry. What did I read? He carried the scorching towel back to the living room, indifferent to the heat against his palms, careful to use the sheet to prevent any direct contact. He wrapped the towel around the man's head, tugging it down so his ears were covered. By the time he finished tucking in the towel and one side of the blanket, Eren thought the stranger's face seemed marginally closer to white than blue. He still wasn't shivering through, and that was really bad sign. Dropping to his knees and lifting the open edge of the blanket, he stopped and muttered an oath as he realized his t-shirt and sweatpants were completely soaked through, impatiently peeling them off. Eren hesitated as his boxers, before hooking his thumb in the waistband and stripping down to his skin. The man needed body heat far more than he needed Eren to worry about modesty. Slipping another blanket, Eren pulled the stranger into his side with his back to the fire so they lay face to face, and wrapped himself around the man. Wrapping his arms around the other man's rib cage, he slid his hands up to the freezing back to press on either side of his neck, keeping the stranger's icy cold hands tucked between them. He dropped one leg over the other man's hips and pulled him tight so they pressed against each other in a long line from shoulder to toe. As they lay there, Eren felt the frantic energy that had driven him drain away. He'd done everything he could do, all that was left was pressing his own heat into the frozen body. Only when they were essentially face to face like this did Eren realize that the man was at least 6 or 7 inches shorter. Eren's eyeline was slightly higher, and he still was able to keep one foot tucked beneath the other man's. He'd been heavy, but that likely came from the densely packed muscles Eren had felt beneath his hands. He couldn't remember if muscles was good for enduring hypothermia or if it would be better if the man had an extra layer of fat. He hoped it was muscle because he hadn't seen all that much fat. Whatever else the man did, he must get plenty of exercise doing it. His eyes studying the face only a few inches away from him, Eren wondered what kind of personality lay behind the pale skin and thin, slashing back brows. He lifted one hand and tucked the towel back into place around the man's head, then broke it around to test the temperature of the man's cheek. His skin was still so cold. Eren didn't think he'd ever wanted anything as much as he wanted his heat to spread into the body in his arms. When Eren finally felt the first shiver start beneath his hands, the relief that spread through him was so strong it brought him tears to his eyes. Shivering is good. Shivering is very good. The words were a reassurance to himself. The shivering came in waves and increased in intensity until it seemed that every bone in both of their bodies was vibrating. Eren tightened his arms and lifted one hand to press the other man's face into his shoulder, and after what seemed like forever, it eased. He actually felt the man regain consciousness as the limp body suddenly seemed to be holding itself back rather than resting on Eren. When the arms tucked against his chest started to move, Eren shifted the man onto his back. The stranger's eyes were blinking open. "Do you feel okay?" Of course it didn't. "Does anything hurt?" There was no answer. The blurry gaze was looking up at Eren, but didn't seem to be focusing. Can you understand me?" The man was silent, but his hand came and touched the towel around his head. His brows lowered, and then he suddenly looked concerned. Eren pushed the towel and sheet away. He stroked the man's black hair and leaned over so he was directly above the other man's unfocused eyes. "It's okay, you're safe now." The black eyes seemed to sharpen, and Eren found himself holding his breath. "Where is this?" His voice was raspy and low. Oh, this is Shinganshina Ranch near Trust. The man kept his eyes on Eren, but Eren wasn't sure how much he actually understood. His pupils still seemed wrong. How did you get there? The bros came together slightly, and the man tried to sit up. He was weak enough that Eren was able to push him back into the blanket. Sure, it took enough force that Eren knew if the man was any less dazed, he couldn't have budged him. I have to go. There's a big storm going outside. You won't be able to get anywhere just yet. Eren's earlier fear returned as he breathed in sharply. Was there someone else? Did you have someone with you in the storm? It might have been Eren's wishful thinking, but the man's eyes seemed to clear and looked almost alert as he looked up at Eren and shook his head. There wasn't anybody else. Okay. The new tension in Eren's shoulder eased. What's your name? But it was at that moment of clarity it had been too much, and the man's eyes lost focus completely. As he looked around the room, Eren thought he wasn't really taking anything in. When he tried to get up again, Eren knew he was right. The man was disoriented, but he was conscious, and as long as Eren kept him from refreezing himself, he'd be fine. He kept soothing the stranger every time he tried to get up, until finally the man seemed to relax again. Eren was exhausted, but insanely grateful when he leaned over to check and found the man's eye clear, meeting his directly. Levi. Eren cocked his head and wondered if he misheard. My name is Levi. One corner of the man's mouth crooked in something that might be a considered smile. Eren's eyes widened. I see. My name is Eren. But the man's eyelid had covered his eyes and his breathing eased. He was asleep. Eren dropped his head down to the blanket, almost weak with relief and exhaustion. That almost smile, he wondered what sort of personality he'd be dealing with in the morning. And then he felt a grin spread across his face as he realized the stranger was going to be okay. The grin froze as Levi suddenly turned on his side, facing him, his arms wrapping around Eren's chest as he burrowed back into him. After a moment, Eren draped an arm over the other man. The exhaustion was taking over. He felt himself slip over the edge, and finally let sleep take him. Woof! I need a little break. Is that okay? I know I'm taking break, but I'm still tired. I think I need to move. The lights are a bit off for me right now, and I've been focusing on my computer for a moment. So, yeah. Whew. So I'll be just answering a little and then I have a little short break. Thank you, people. You're nice to me. Family. What kind of event do you want to plan? Oh, I love Mish Kelly. I love her videos. Oh, and I love the Alchemic Fox too. I don't know the other one, but yeah. And I love Tea Addict production as well. Oh, you know Addict too. Oh, I think we talked about it before. Yeah, they're awesome. Oh, and Vendetta cosplay, of course. Same. I love, love, love that thing. I did a little thing before, as like because something happened that was similar to Eren finding the things like oh sorry, I'm silly. I can do the music right now, but the Attack on Titan music and Eren focusing on something like yeah, I want that. That was so funny. There's a lot of things I don't know because I don't know what to answer because I don't think you're talking to me. What? Okay, I need to go a moment. I'll be back. I'll stretch my legs too. Aye. Woo. I just fell back into the couch because I don't know. I don't know what happened. We didn't see anything. Oh. Oh. Back. Whew. I need to drink again. Ow. I was not sitting well before. What's happening? Well, thank you. Sorry. My hair is a bit of a mess right now. Hey. Oh. Ooh. Excuse me. Okay. You know what? I have a cookie before I start again, if that's okay. Thank you. I don't know if you were talking to me, but thank you. I don't know. Hmm. Really good. That's the first time actually I got them today, so they're really good. There's like coconut in it. And of course chocolate. Really like it. Yeah. Sometimes I need the boost of energy. Oh, the Valley poem. I saw that, but I'm not sure. Oh, are you a cookie? Oh, you're a coconut. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. Well, I'm a titan. But I won't eat army. There's a mean coconut in there. No, it's not a biscuit. This one is a cookie, actually. Remember the rules. I don't have biscuits right now. I have cookies. They're so good. I might just take them now. I mean, I like the other one, but most of the time they're always too... In France, they're not really awesome at doing cookies. Depending, I mean, when you do them, home bake them, they're good, I mean, most of the time, depending. But mine, I prefer mine when they're not too crusty, but more like when they're like, wait, what's the word? Soft and a bit, still crunchy, but not a lot. And those are actually close, not, because they're kind of cheap, but they're good. Because the ones that like too, I don't like it a lot. I mean, I'm okay with it, but sorry, I'm talking about cookies. Hmm, they're soft, kind of soft. I'm doing like a cookie degustation. Oops. Mmm, really yummy. Mm. My dad picked them for me. I'm glad he did. Mm. I love the cookies they have at Subway too. Um, the M&M's one, and I love but my favorite are not the M&M's one. I love the M&M's one, but at Subway my favorite are like the white chocolate with cranberries one. This is good, and yeah, I love cookies. Really, Holly? Rebelling about against yourself. That's fun. Thank you for the cookie, Courtney. I appreciate that. I love all the cookies. But yeah, I think my favorite are the home baked one. Um, that are soft, really soft, and really buttered in a good way. And a friend of mine actually does the best ones. And it's been a moment since I had them. I hope she's going to make some more someday. I hope I'll get to have some too. We'll see. I love them. I think that were the best cookies I ever ate or something. Really. Good praise from me. Hmm. Oh, is it? Oh wait, actually, yeah. I don't know if it's the same. I mean, someone said it's Happy Father's Day, so Happy Father's Day to fathers, and I guess Eren is going. I'm going to be one someday. With Levi's, we're going to have kids, and I don't know if it's the same in France. Really, let me check it and tell you. So in French, it's Fête des Pères. So yeah, it's the same day. Why is Mother's Day on a different day than you guys in France, and Father's Day is the same day? Do you understand that? Because I don't. I mean, it's not today. It's on the 21 for us. I think it's on 21 for you too. But me at my place, it's 21 right now. Oh my god, Angie's going to marry Titans. I'm scared. Yeah, and Mother's Day was like today I did the Mother's Day live stream, so it was next uh Sunday for us in France. So I know it was different. And then apparently Father's Day is on the same day. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Really, why can't they have the same day? Well, at least mother can have 2 days, but it's not fair for dads. By the way, my mom loved the pasta necklace. And first she didn't get it was pasta. She was like, "Oh, it's nice. Thank you so much." And I was like, "Yeah, it's a pasta necklace." And she was like, "Is it?" She was like, "Oh, it's fun." And she didn't remember the thing. Like, apparently she knew that we were supposed to give her a pasta necklace. She was part of the idea, she wanted it, she thought it was funny. She forgot, and when I gave it to her, she didn't notice it was pasta. But she really loved it, and she's going to wear it. Yes! Oh god. Okay. Um, okay, see you in a moment, Holly. I'm going to continue reading, is that okay with you all? Do you want to know what happened now? Okay. Oh, and Becca, you should put yourself in a comfortable enough position and maybe put some either maybe hot or cold on it. I think hot will be better, but I know it's hot. So just relax. I don't know what's hurting exactly, but it can help. Yeah, before you take your medicine. Okay. Blizzard Part 3. I just feel funny saying all this. Um, Summary. Levi is out of danger, and Eren realizes the situation he put himself into a little too late. Oh god, so I'm going to have to cut into some parts right now because it's not a plus 18 one live stream. So let's see. Oh god. I'll try my best, okay? I think I'll do if something is I can say, you know. I don't want it to be too so I'll try my best while reading to change some parts. Wish me luck. Eren wasn't sure what woke him. As he drifted into a comfortable fog, he easily thought it might have been a log popping in the fireplace, maybe uncomfortable floor. Most likely, it was a hand petting his ass. Ian's eyes shot open. He stared into the stranger's, no, into Levi's face. The pale brow was slightly furrowed, but black lashes still lay still and unmoving against Levi's skin. If it weren't for the fingertips drawing lazy patterns on Eren's butt, he would have thought the man was still asleep. He felt the heat, of a blush spread across his cheeks as he realized that he was, you know, in his sleepy memories. If his sleepy memories weren't a dream, the the stroking might possibly have been going for some time. For the first time since he stripped them off and climbed into the blankets, Eren realized exactly how intimate their position was. He'd never been aware of the fact that they were both naked and pressed closely together. But in the first overwhelming drive to keep the man from dying, and then later when his own exhaustion and relief had sent him to sleep, he didn't actually proceed to follow through. He dropped a leg over Levi's hip at some point. It was probably time to move. As he shifted his way backward, Levi steered. The nails that had been tracing cycle on his, lifted, and Eren felt fingers trail to stroke the base of his spine. His body jerked. The sensation was almost uncomfortable and at the same time sent a wave of heat through his body. He forced out a slow, controlled breath and tried to bring himself back under control. He was actually surprised he was reacting so easily. In hindsight, he thought one of the reasons it hadn't occurred to him to see the provocativeness of the situation was because he wouldn't have thought it would affect him all that much. He'd never been, that a lot of a person, like this. I'm sorry, I have to not say everything. So he was not expecting to be really attracted to that person even in sleep. So being kind of turned on was just this guy's fingertips was not something he would have expected. Deciding this was not the best time to worry about trivialities, Eren started to untangle the legs. He'd gotten barely an inch of space between them when Levi's eyes blinked open. Concern instantly swept away his own discomfort as he realized Levi still seemed disoriented. And for the first time, Eren noticed a slight flush riding high on the man's cheekbones. Pressing a hand to Levi's forehead, he was relieved when the temperature seemed to be nothing approaching normal. Levi's internal thermometers would likely be mixed up for a while, but he wasn't deathly cold anymore. In the dual reflected glow of the fire, Eren could see that what he'd first taken for black eyes were actually a really pale color. In the reddish light, he couldn't see the irises were gray or blue, but they were barely visible around the man's blown pupils. His eyes were fixed on Eren's face, but Eren didn't think he was taking anything in. Eren's hands shifted to stroke the black strands of back from Levi's clammy forehead. Levi tilted his head to press his cheek into the warmth of Eren's palm and pressed his body forward, closing the small gaps that Eren had managed to put between them. Eren thought Levi should be more alert by this point, but he couldn't remember for sure. His own thought felt sluggish from lack of real sleep as he tried to recall exactly how long the various stages of hypothermia was supposed to last. All that came to mind was a hazy memory of someone in the class saying warming up took a lot longer than expected. Sorry, I felt something on my arm. Longer than expected, which told him exactly nothing useful. He could remember that he had to be careful not to let the guy refreeze until his body was fully recovered. And then he remembered the instructor telling them that hypodermic skin burned easily, so it was really important to introduce any hot liquids carefully, as injuries from relatively mild heat were just as likely as frostbite or dehydration. Dehydration. Mentally kicking himself for having fallen asleep without getting any fluids into Levi, Eren pulled away, pushing the blanket away as he sat up. He was completely unprepared for the hands that grabbed his upper arm and yanked him back down, almost in the same position, and far too smoothly for someone who had essentially been at Deer's door such a short time earlier. Levi slipped up and over, dropping himself across Eren's chest. Eren lay flat on his back, blinking in surprise. After a moment, when it looked as though Levi had finished moving, Eren craned his neck to look down at the top of the head, now using his shoulder as a pillow. Experimentally, he tried to slip out from under the other man. He was not surprised when Levi's arm tightened around his ribcage. Evidently, Levi wanted to stay put, effectively pinned by the heavy weight on his chest. Eren stared up at the ceiling and wondered what exactly the proper etiquette was in situations like this. He could just stay put. He didn't need to get the guy to drink something. But despite the heavily dilated pupils and the fact that the guy still didn't seem entirely aware of his surroundings, the strength and speed of his movements gave Eren the definite impression that Levi was going to be just fine whatever he did and didn't do. It was just uh, that unexpected thing that happened never quite faded. After all the trouble, he's well, I'm not going to say that, sorry. It was beyond here ironic that it seemed to have woken up now, and it was definitely out of place. He didn't have the right to let himself continue to get turned on by an unconscious man who was just trying to get warm. Reaching down, he tried prying Levi's arm off from around his torso. When that got him exactly nowhere, he wriggled his hands in between them and pushed against Levi, trying to pry him off without hurting him. The guy was heavy, strong, and didn't want to budge. Panting, Eren lay flat on his back with his hands trapped between his chest, torn between amusement and frustration. He just about decided he was going to have to stay here until the guy woke up completely, but he gave it one last shot. Instead of peeling the man's off first, he decided to sit with Levi still attached to his chest. Surprisingly, this time he actually managed to get upright. He yanked his hands free so he could reposition Levi's leg with his knees resting on either side of Eren's hips. The resulting position was no way better. He was trying to work out how exactly to get to his feet when Levi stirred. Pulling slightly away from Eren, Levi frowned as he glanced around the room. Eren found himself holding his breath as he tried to keep still as possible, hoping he could ease away before the guy realized what was going on. When it didn't look like Levi was planning on going anywhere on his own, Eren lightly placed his hands on either side of Levi's hips and tried to lift the man, intending to slide out from underneath. At the first touch, Levi gazed from swung back to fix on Eren's face, blinking slowly before sliding down to stare at Eren. Problem. Eren felt his face burn all the way to the tip of his ears. As Levi continued staring with no expression on his face, Eren grit his teeth and kept moving, trying to get away before he embarrassed himself any further. When Levi lifted his weight up into his knees, Eren let out a sigh of relief. He wasn't expecting Levi to move away on his own, so he was taken completely by surprise when the man's hand shifted to his shoulder and shoved, pushing him back down to the blanket with an ease that made a mockery of the struggle Eren had gone through to get up in the first place. Anchoring Eren to the floor, Levi crouched on all four over the taller man. His gaze was still blurry, his eyes dilated and unfocused. Eren figured the guy was acting on instinct. He wasn't entirely sure what that instinct was. As Levi leaned it and closed the gap between their faces, Eren watched him with wide eyes, absolutely still except for the rise and fall in his chest, as he tried to control his breathing. He had no idea what he was expecting, if he was expecting anything, but when Levi ran his tongue lightly across Eren's lip, his entire body jolted in surprise, only to stiffen a moment later when he felt Levi's teeth bite his bottom lip. Lifting his head, Levi's eyelid dropped down to half cover his eyes as he watched Eren's reaction. He licked his lips and Eren felt his breathing hitch. His thoughts were incoherent. One tiny corner was screaming at him to do something, though it wasn't specific about what. The rest was a tangled mess, all of his attention fixed on the mouth of the man above him. Levi leaned back down to the sensitive joint, I think it's joint, between Eren's neck and shoulder. This time, Eren was pretty sure he knew what was going to happen when he felt the teeth bite down. A little harder than he expected, the current that raced through his whole body was so strong his back arched off the blanket. The first he knew of the hand slipping down his stomach was when he felt cold fingers there. He shuddered and might have come back to his senses if he wasn't distracted by Levi's mouth. Um, so I have to cut a little, really. Um, wait. I didn't remember that. So things happen, not saying what. Eren last for as he slipped under was that somehow that didn't bother him as much as it should that it happened. Whoops. Eren woke to bright sunlight and a crystal clear recollection of everything that had happened the night before. He stared up at the dust motes floating in the early morning, a ray of light high above his head. For a moment, in the still silence broken only by the distant ticking of the clock, he started to wonder if it had all been a dream. He had a fraction of a second to wonder why the idea made him feel so disappointed when all thinking stopped entirely as he realized that the weight he'd been feeling on his arm was someone using it as a pillow. Eren Levi's eyes were clear and alert as I met Eren's. Eren felt his face burn. Good morning. The man's eyes were sharp pale blue. They were also far too close. He eased his arm out from under the other man's head. He half expected a hand to reach up and stop him, but awake and aware Levi seemed to be okay with Eren moving away. Sitting up, Eren started to tug the blanket to cover himself, but realized that it had bunched up and twisted and he was about to leave Levi completely exposed. He decided he could deal with just the corner covering his lap. Levi shifted an arm to prop his head, laying on his side as he looked up at Eren. He seemed completely at ease, as he often found himself stretched out naked on floors next to complete strangers, faced with Levi's calm stillness. Eren felt as his own limbs were currently twice as awkward and in the way as usual. He clenched his hands in the blanket over his knees. I'm Eren. Yes, I remember. Levi's voice was deep, and the texture caught Eren so off guard that he nearly missed the implication. Nearly. His eyes went wide. How much do you remember? Levi's mouth switched almost imperceptibly. Imperceptibly. I have trouble talking today, sorry. Pretty much everything, I think. His eyes flicked over for what I could see of Eren. I can account for the mark I see on you in any case. Eren looked down. He could see a couple of reddened patches where Levi's teeth had bitten or sucked a little harder, but it was a dry, flaky trail on his belly that made him jerk his legs up to his chest. His face went so hot he knew his already flushed skin must be approaching fire engine red. He stared at Levi's almost bored expression. There was no hint of anything even resembling a smile, but he could swear the man was amused by his reaction. Eren opened his mouth to say something, anything, but nothing came out. His eyes shifted away from Levi's and snagged on the hand that was draped at Levi's waist. His mind flashed back to the feel of that same hand on his skin the night before and he felt his heart skip into double time. Sorry, I heard something outside. Thank you. For a moment, Eren thought the other man was referring to the whole thing. You saved my life. Whatever amusement Eren had seen had vanished. Levi's eyes were intent on Eren's face, as if he wanted to make sure Eren understood the truth of what he was saying. I'd be dead now if you hadn't helped me. That's okay, everyone would have. Eren twisted his fingers together. I mean, the fact that you got yourself to my front door in the state you were in, really impressive. How did you wind up out in this weather? We're miles away from anything. How did you get there? Levi paused and looked over at the window. By the time my truck slid off the road, I think I was already way off the highway. After that, once I walked into the water, everything I remember gets blurry until I start warming up. His eyes turned back to meet Eren, so thank you. And I'm sorry. I'm sure you were not expecting me to attack you when you were just trying to get me warm. You didn't attack me? Bullshit. I held you down and grabbed your thing. Eren bit his lips. I know enough self-defense that I could have stopped you. Eren raised an eyebrow. Really, Eren stopped and shook his head. No, actually, I get it. If it had been my sister, or my brother, or whoever, really, I could see myself being angry. But I knew you weren't really in control of yourself, and I didn't stop you. He tried to tell himself to stop talking, even as he heard the words keep pouring out of his mouth. And I wanted you to keep going, so I'm at fault too. His face had gone back to bright red again. He could feel it. I'd be really mad if it was my sister in your shoes. His eye flicked down to Levi's bare feet, or position, or whatever. He blinked his lips together to finally shut himself up. Levi blinked. Eren was never so grateful for the interruption of an uneasy yet familiar yawl. Moe was perched on the arm of the couch, glaring down at them. Slowly looking away, Levi glanced back over his shoulder. That is one ugly ass cat. Yeah, he wants to be fed. Eren looked around frantically before leaning over to grab at the fabric that had been wrapped around Levi's head the night before. He struggled to his feet, wrapping the towel around his waist. He'd been going for the shit, but he wasn't going back for it now. His knees were stiff, and for a moment he was distracted. As there was also... Wait. Whatever. Levi stretched and sat up. I don't suppose my clothes from yesterday are wearable? Eren looked over at the back of the couch to the front door. His eyes widened as he saw the extent of the mess he left. The entranceway looked something like a battlefield, with each scattered remnant of Levi's clothing lying in its own puddle of water. His eyes shot up to the bright sunlight streaming through the wall of windows. Oh shit. Eren half ran to the front door. He sighed in relief when he pulled it open and found a good foot and a half of snow, even under the protection of the porch roof. If the snow was that height here, it would likely be a lot worse on the road. There was no way anyone would try and make the trip right away. Shivering, he shut the door and looked at the clock. He had at least a few hours before even the best snowplow would have a chance at making the road passable. Sorry, I need to drink. Wow. Whew. I've been eating for a while, that's why. Um, excuse me. Where was I? Oh, he was going to have to put everything back to normal before the other came home. Keeping the house in order had become Armin's responsibility, mostly by default, from the day he had moved in with the rest of the family. Sorry. He was the only one of the four who paid it any attention when the place dissolved into chaos. And he had really early on worked out that he needed to be brutal if he wanted the others to clean up after themselves. Excuse me. Eren had learned his lesson after he found the goat chewing on the content of his bag, including his homework, the last of the many times he'd forgotten and dumped his stuff on the floor by the front door. He's been mostly good since then, and the few isolated times he'd left messes for Armin to clean up since then had been just as memorable. So he was really glad Armin wasn't around to see this. Turning back to Levi, he noticed the man had stood up. He was focused on wrapping the sheets Eren hadn't managed to grab on himself, and Eren took the opportunity to study him. The bruise on his chest had deepened and stood out against his white skin. Didn't realize his eyes had dropped down below Levi's waist until the sheets shifted and obscured his view. His eyes shot up to the other man's face, catching a glimpse of Levi's raised eyebrow before he lost the ability to look in his direction at all. Concentrating intently on the nearest pile of waterlogged fabric, he scrubbed a hand through his hair. I'm just gonna go get some clothes. He was already halfway through the staircase by the time he finished the sentence. Alright, the voice was cold. I'll be back. Fine. Eren escaped to his room as fast as he could without being too obvious about running away. As he shut the door behind him, he thumped his head back against it, trying to wipe the last few minutes from his memory. He forced himself to breathe deeply for a couple of seconds before jolting into actions. He grabbed clean clothes for himself and happily got dressed after cleaning his stomach as best as he could. He felt so much better, not naked. Clothes for Levi were more of a problem. Levi was muscular, but lean and almost petite. Eren's clothes would likely hang off him. Armin was slightly skinnier, but even taller than Eren. Plus, with what Eren had done under Armin's blanket downstairs, he figured he'd better leave the rest of Armin's things alone. Misa- Mikasa clothes would probably fit the best, but Eren didn't think either Levi or Mikasa would appreciate that. He didn't even consider attempting to find anything in Angie's room. Deciding his own wardrobe was the safest. He grabbed a pair of boxers, a tee, and his warmest sweater, along with a pair of sweatpants with a drawstring waist and a couple towels from his bathroom. He checked his phone, but as expected, there was no signal. There was a two-way radio in the basement, but unless there was an actual emergency, he didn't think there was any need to worry about checking in with anybody in town. Major embarrassment did not count as an emergency, not to mention the fact that the bed and breakfast everyone would be staying at at what was owned by Jen's mother, and there was little to no chance that the idiot would be anywhere else with Mikasa around. He paused at his door, took a deep breath, and headed back downstairs with a closed clutch to his chest. Levi was standing at the window by the front door. The demon cat was rubbing his head against Levi's bare calf, but stopped to glare at Eren before stalking off towards the kitchen. It looked like Levi had cleaned up somewhat. The clothes were in one wet heap by the fire, next to the now neatly folded and stacked blankets. He made no comment when Eren slipped in one of the puddles of water he already forgotten about. only just managing to stop himself from falling, but Eren was pretty sure he saw the corner of his mouth twitch again. Where can I shower? Eren shook his head as he set the clothes and towel on the counters that separated the kitchen from the living room area. The power is out, so there isn't any hot water. Levi raised his brow and tapped his foot to the floor. Isn't this a heated floor? Yeah, one of the generator keeps the building heat going, just no hot water or lights. Pretty much everything else is covered. He personally thought Angie liked the idea of roughing it in the wilderness, but she couldn't live without her computers and test equipment, and Mikasa refused to be cold, so lighting and water was pretty much all that was left. The microwave and stove work first, so we can heat water that way. As he moved to the stove to put the kettle on to boil, he was overly aware of Levi stepping into the kitchen behind him. The whole sponge bath thing was usually horrible. The water would either be scalding or cold, and it never seemed to manage an in between, and no matter how thorough someone tried to be, there was no way to feel completely clean when you were used to a shower. But Eren hadn't really thought what it was really like to do a sponge bath next to Levi. He should have given the man a kettle and towel and pointed to a bathroom. He never had a problem keeping his attention off Armin when they'd been in the same situation, but from the moment Levi dropped the sheets, Eren kept having to jerk his eyes away. Levi was methodical and thorough as he scrubbed at his skin. He was still going after Eren had finished and put his own clothes back on. He only stripped down to his boxers. He also fed the cat who inhaled the food and then disappeared. He didn't really realize he'd forgotten not to watch Levi until the shorter man dropped the sponge back in the dish he'd been using and turned his head to stare back at him. Eren quickly shifted his gaze to the table. I think we have some stuff to put on those bruises. His eyes flickered back to Levi's chest and ran away. I'm a pervert. Apparently. I'm not surprised. A corner of his mind registered that something about the bruising was odd, but he couldn't think what. I'm fine, don't bother. Uh, Levi snagged the t-shirt, pulling it over his head. The hem came to about mid-thigh, and Eren quickly busied himself so he wouldn't stare or do anything else stupid. The guy was almost delicate despite his clearly defined muscles, but Eren was pretty sure telling him he looked cute in the oversized clothing would be a bad thing. Levi had finished dressing by the time Eren had cleaned up the kitchen and pulled out the mop to start on the living room floor. He protested at first when Levi started to help clean, but the man hadn't bothered arguing, so he just grabbed the mop from Eren's hand and started cleaning the floor, telling Eren to go handle the laundry. By the time they finished, Levi had gotten Eren to sanitize every part of the kitchen they touched, and the living room area practically gleamed. Eren was pretty sure Armin was going to like Levi. He glanced at the clock again. It was close to 10 a.m., and he should have long since started the morning round, of course. I have to go out to the barn for a while. Do you want me to set up a movie for you or something? Eren offered and then bit his lips at Levi's impassive expression. I'll come with you. But I don't know how long you have to be careful not to freeze again. The barn is heated too, I'm guessing. Yeah, then I'll be fine. In the end, as they stood in front of the door with Levi bundled in Mikasa's puffy old coat and his own boots, Eren had to admit the man looked like he was ready for the weather. He studied him, looking for any sign that the guy had nearly frozen to death the night before. There wasn't one, except Eren reached out a hand and touched a finger to Levi's lower lip. As he registered Levi's raised brows, he jerked his hand back and fisted at his side. Sorry, he wanted to disappear into the floor. I just your lips are cracked. Sorry. Levi's expression was, what the fuck? Sorry, mosquito, stupid mosquito. Ah, I didn't have it. Uh, Levi's expression was impossible to read, so Eren had no warning at all when the shorter man reached out and twisted his hand in the neck of Eren's shirt, yanking his face down close enough that he could place his dry lips over Eren's. So the kiss started out fairly chaste, but when Eren gasped, sorry, I'm so, whatever, gasped for breath, Levi pushed his tongue into Eren's mouth. Even as Eren felt himself responding, Levi pulled away. He tapped a finger on Eren's cheek. We'll deal with the rest of that later. As he headed out the door, Eren stared after him, wide-eyed. I'm in so much fucking trouble. But in a good one, I'd say. Woo! That was the end of this chapter, and oh my god, I didn't remember this to be so steam. God. Red again. But Levi, you know. Levi. So I need a little break again. I think it's because I'm still tired. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's really long. I need to drink a little. Yeah, right. I need the other cookie. You know what? I had 2 in it. So, are you guys liking this fanfiction so far? I'm not making a mess. Is everyone okay? Of course I'm going to be Armin's best man. And he'll be mine when I marry Levi. Oh, that cookie was so good. I wish I could have more, but I'm not going to. I had 2 already, it's good. But that was so good. Hey back, Marble. I hope you're being nice. So let's talk a little. I need a bit of a break. Um, so what do you guys do today? Uh, to answer the question before I see your answer, me, I just been, yeah, I think I told you already. Phew, I'm distracted. I just was on the phone with a friend that I didn't talk for a while because I've been having some issues and we were not available at the same time too. And I did clean a little, but really little. But most of the time I just rested because I needed it, and I had to get my groceries from my dad, so I had to clean all of this. It stressed me out every time I have to do this. But well, I did it. Oops, I'm clicking on random things. I wish we could go to a con, all of us together. That would be fine. I mean, that would be cool, really cool. The BratCon, yeah, a lot of fun. God, apparently I've been saying AKA, not in the good way. I said Aka because I mean, I just pronounced it like normal. Apparently you don't say Aka, you say AKA. It's way too long. Why can't you say AK or something, not AKA? Long. Yeah. So apparently I've been saying it wrong for a moment. Sometimes, people notice me that my friend noticed me when I'm not saying something right, and actually like to know that because I want to get better. So that's good. But I'm like, really, I didn't know. Uh, Pronunciation sometimes is complicated for me because sometimes I never heard the word or didn't get it, and yeah, I just read them, so I don't know. I know what it means, but I don't know how you pronounce it. I think I know, but sometimes English is confusing to me. Sometimes. Most of the time it's really actually logic, so I'm okay with it and I like it. I love the English language a lot, but yeah, sometimes I get it wrong, and it can be funny sometimes to me. I'm like, and sometimes like really like, why is it like this? It doesn't make sense. Oh, French is not making a lot of sense either, but I'm used to it. Even if I'm like, really, why? French is cool. I'm not saying it's bad. It's a really complicated language to know. At least I actually learned it when I was a kid, so yeah, it's not that complicated for me. And yeah, but my favorite language I think is English, even if I'm not the best yet. I hope I get. I'm trying to get better, and actually, I know that I'm better now than I was years before. I got better, so I'm glad, and I want to get better and better and better. I want to improve all the time. Really? Yeah, right. There's a lot of words that I recognize that you got from France, and it's funny. A lot of words. Not that much, but still. Yeah, I hate that we can say the them, they pronouns in French because I mean they exist, but it will be actually it wouldn't be feminine or it would be actually masculine. I mean, you want to say both like they them, you can't because you're always going to say il. Il means them, but it always have a gender. You can't just say, you know, it's annoying. I hate it in French when I have to say they them. I don't know how to. I don't know what to say, so I try avoiding saying any gender. But yeah, I hate it that we should have something like this, but we don't. So you're good with this. You're good. At least you have the they, them pronouns. That's cool. I mean, not pronouns, but you know what I mean. Well, as there. I'm kind of tired right now. Really? Me? Mine? Well, thank you. I was scared when I first talked to you on the on video call. I was like, oh my god, maybe I'm not going to get everything, and maybe I won't be clear enough. I was scared. I mean, I spoke to people before in English, in real life. Sometimes I met some people, and every time I can speak English, I always do. Oh my god, now I know I have been saying maybe I was so bad before. But yeah, you know what? Trial and error and training is the best to learn a language anyway. So even if you're not speaking it awesomely, you can just practice, practice, practice all the time. So I was doing it. But yeah, I was scared at first. I was like, oh my god, I hope I'm going to be okay. Something in French. Uh, okay, I'll say something in French. Alors, je suis amoureux de Levi et je l'aime de tout mon cœur. Je t'aime, Levi. So was it okay? So I said, I'm really in love with Levi, and I love you, Levi, from all of my heart. That's what I said in French. I don't know. I prefer my voice in English. You don't like you don't like cheese, really? I'm offended. I'm kidding, but really, cheese the best thing. One of the best things from France that I like. There's a lot of things that I don't like in France, but there's some things that I love in France, and they are cheese, bread, the baguettes, baguettes. And then I love the croissant. So like you guys say croissant, but please don't say croissant anymore. It's croissant, 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 croissant. Okay, so just helping you, knowing how you say it normally, like a real French person. Uh, it's just the pronunciation, croissant. You can do it. And the wine, I am legal. I can drink wine, but really I'm not someone really frankly, and I'm not saying it because I'm on the channel and I want to look good in front of you, but really I never get drunk because that's not my thing. I like to eat not eat. I like to drink some wine and some alcohol sometimes, but just a little. So I never get drunk. I don't like it because I hate not having control. I have the problem with Titans, so I don't want to have it with drink. And really, I'm serious about the alcohol thing. Please don't drink too much. Drink normally, enjoy it a little, if you're legal, of course. If you're not, don't drink alcohol. So that's it. So I'm trying to explain to you. Anyway, so yeah, the wine, and don't judge me, but I like the snails. Really, they're good. I feel bad for them, but they're good. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. And yeah, I don't know what else I like in France. Some places, my family. Yeah, the beach. My friends, of course. Thank you. Oh, it's not pomelo's mouse, it's pamplemousse. Pamplemousse. I'll type it. It's pamplemousse. It's grapefruit. Wait, is that the word? It's a round thing like this, and it's yellow, and inside it's pink. It's like a lemon, but not a lemon. I forgot. What's the word for it? No, you don't have pamplemousse, you have melons. Don't worry, I was talking to someone. Pommes de terre, yes. Pommes de terre are potatoes. We call them we call them pommes de terre and patates. Grapefruit, so I wasn't crazy, thank you. Papillon. Yeah, you got writing badly, but you were close. But that's it. Papillon. Mean butterfly. I typed it out for you. We're learning French together. Yeah, sorry, I was not mixing melons with grapefruit. It's just a joke with my friend stuff. So it's they were not related when I talked about it. Oops. So yeah, don't worry. I know what melons are. In like 5 hours? Wait, I have to be awake in like five up. Sure, excuse me. Yeah, I have apples. Oh, oh, where are you going? I mean, if it's not, if you're okay answering it. Please be safe. Really, all of you guys, be safe. Oh, I have to say something because I know you guys sometimes listen to me, and I'm there right now doing this kind of video for a reason, right? I'm doing the staying home with Eren thing. It's actually up. It was so long. I put it in like SHWE because it's well. I mean, saying it is like blah blah blah, but writing it is shorter. So yeah. So staying home with Eren is a thing because right now, I mean, first because it's nice to do a live stream, and I didn't do that a lot before because I was too busy and I didn't have a concept or anything. I don't know. I just came up with it because I was so tired of not having anything to do and not knowing what to give to you, do any content, and I missed it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something like this. And I got the idea of making live every week from a YouTuber that I really love, and it's Paul Taylor, and he's actually English, but he lives in France and in Paris actually, and he makes video about weird French things, French thing people that do in French and how they confuse him, and he's really funny. And his videos are both in French and English. And so he started doing some live, and I was like, you know what, I could do. I mean, it wasn't the same thing, but it was like, yeah, I could do something like this too. I like his live stream. I don't watch all of them anymore because I have things to do and prepare sometimes. But I love his video a lot. He did the what the fuck friends thing, and I like it. Anyway, sorry, promoting a little bit, but yeah, he gave me the idea for it, and I'm going to go to my point because you know how I am. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to tell you a story. Let's go. The story is there. Normally I should do this, right? No, me, I'm like, oh, da, 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 da. Oh, I have to tell you this. Oh, and this, but before I tell you this, I have to go there and tell you this too. Oh, and also, oh, look at this plush. I love plush. And oh, look at the duck, and oh, there. Oh, actually, I forgot to tell you the story. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, going to the point. Finally did it. Anyway, that's me. So I'm going to tell you something that I think is important. Now, if you waited enough, you know what I'm going to say. Please, don't forget that I'm not going to talk a lot about it because I said in the rules we're not supposed to talk about it because. But this is important, so I want to tell you anyway, not right now. And we're not going to talk about it a lot, just mentioning it now, so you guys, know that. I think we should all still be really careful and wear our mask and be really careful with people and with everything that we touch and still because um people think they're safe right now. but they're not safe from the things that's going on that I'm not going to name because um so we're not safe yet. I'm not saying it to make you scared or anything, but I'm just saying it so because right now some of the numbers are getting higher, some are dropping, depending on where, because situation, didn't start at the same rates everywhere, and people in there right now in France, I know it's different everywhere, but the thing were dropping, so people were like, yeah, everything, whatever, everything is nice now. We can go and party with everyone. People ask me, actually, oh hey, do you think we should do a cosplay picnic on Saturday or Sunday? I was like, you know what? Me, I'm not going to go. I prefer to be careful for now. And then, because I don't think it's a good idea right now to do that kind of thing, even if I would love to do that. I really, really love going, seeing my friends and meeting some other friends, doing cosplay, doing all those things, and going to join people. I love it. I miss it so much. But right now, doing this would do, I mean, imagine being, doing an outing with your friends, like more than one friend, because seeing one friend, if you're careful enough, I think is okay. But really, just be careful with it. But like going to see a lot of people and staying, hanging up together. I mean, it could be awesome. Yes, it's awesome, but you can't be totally careful and have a lot of fun. Imagine you're in cosplay, you have your mask, you're there with your friends, you have to take a lot of precaution, you can't hug them, you can't do most things that you normally would like to do. For me, it gets a lot of the fun out of it. So, I wanted to expose you my opinion. That's what, just my opinion, but really, I think it's common sense. And I know we all miss doing a lot of things where, but we're saving it for when everything will be better and will be free. I long to that. I long for that moment. I really can't wait for it. I'm excited. I'll be able to see my friends, a lot more of my family. Um, I'll be able to go out, do a lot of things, without being, so restricted in everything, um, and stuff. So I know it's a serious talk, but I really needed to tell you my opinion about it, and I wanted to advise you. So I hope it's alright with you. So I think we should be all careful for now until it's really fixed, not just, oh, everything is dropping, is everything going to be okay? Um, Sadly, it's not yet over. We're still in it, and we need to be strong. So everything will be better, and we won't have to have this situation happening again because it it will happen if people keep being, they're not being doing anything that they want to do anything bad. They just don't realize it. And I think we should be there, all of us, trying to reach that message and be like, yeah, you know what? I'd like to do that. I'd love to do a lot of things, but I prefer to keep safe for you and myself, everyone. So yeah, just I really hope it's okay. And we have a lot of things we can do now, like you can video call, you can do a lot of things. Oh, sorry. I got a notification on YouTube. So, whoa. Well, thank you, Rena's vlog, for the comments. I'm glad you like my videos. Don't know if you're watching it now, but thank you. So yeah, I thought it was really important, and it's important to me, so I can maybe, I don't know. I hope it helps. Just really, there's other things we can do. We can do TikToks. TikTok saved my life in a way, in a little way. It really helped me, because you can reach other cosplayers and you cosplay with them, even if you're not in real life with them. It's not exactly the same, but it helps really. Even if you're not cosplaying, it helps doing things with other people. That's just my opinion. I hope, yeah, I just hope it was okay. And I love you all. I want you all to be safe. And please, even if it's annoying, I know how annoying it is. Please be careful for yourself and other people and the future. I count on you, okay? We have to be brave. We really have to be brave. And we have things to do. So, yes, wishing everything good for you all and wishing the world is going to get better right now in a moment. Oh, wait, I was trying something. No, it didn't work. So, thank you very much for listening to me. And now I'm going to answer your things. I just thought it was really important to talk about it. I didn't. I hope it didn't sound negative or anything. It was just, me trying to reach out and tell you, what I feel about this. Yeah, no, I was not blaming you, Jewel. You don't have a choice anyway. Just be safe. That's all I'm saying. I was not talking to you personally. I was talking to anyone that is listening. Don't worry. Uh, I just want you to be careful. Just be careful. I know it's annoying. A lot of things are, annoying, but you can do it. I'm sure you can do it. Oh, I love face mask a lot. I love it. Okay, what happened with Gracie? I'm sorry, I didn't see. No, you can talk about it, Gracie. It's not your fault, and I'm really sorry. I hope you say, please think that we're all with you, so you're not really alone. Okay? Oh, les magasins. So it's spelled another way, but you got it right. It's shops. Magasins are shops. Shop. So I write it down for you. Wait, Gracie and where? Il y a du soleil. You were right about it. It means it is funny, sunny, not funny. Sorry, my tongue slipped. Oh, hi Rena again. Thank you very much. Oh, and hi Isabel. How are you? Sorry, I'm answering after, but I was talking, so don't worry. Again. So I think, um, is it okay if I stop reading for tonight because I think I'm still too tired for it? Where are we in the fanfiction? I have to check. So I read like 5 chapters of it. Oh, it's not bad. And there's like 21 of them, but we'll read it later if that's okay. Friendship cup. I don't think people hip cup the same as me. I don't know. I don't think they do because they're always surprised when I do it. I don't know. It's the Eren thing, apparently. I'm not a Linda. Thank you. Okay, so I'll stay a bit with you talking, if that's okay, and then I'll go. We've been live for I don't know how much time. 2 hours. I did worse. I mean, if I wasn't tired and I didn't need sleep, I would have stayed more and continued with the story. But yeah, I'm a bit too I need sleep. I liked it too much before. That's why my body, got sad really, really low. I barely could talk. I was so, so tired and I was scared of it. It was really, really bad days that I had. On It started on Tuesday, kind of. Got worse on Wednesday, and then on Thursday it was horrible. It started feeling a bit better yesterday, and then today I felt better too. I really need to sleep more, eat better. That's what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I think I should go in a moment right now. But yeah, I'm trying to get myself back in health. You know. Uh, yeah, I'll try. Really, thank you very much for caring. And I really didn't want to not do live. Like on last Saturday, I know I wasn't. I mean, both time I couldn't do. I really couldn't have done them. But Saturday, I was way too. I told you my nose was stuffed, and I knew I would have a lot of trouble talking, and I was so so tired. So I was decided at almost last moment that I needed to rest and stuff. And then I had trouble resting. But yeah, and then on Wednesday, I really, really was angry at myself and at the situation because I really wanted to be live. I was I was feeling bad because I already had to cancel the Saturday one. Then Wednesday, I was so mad. I was like really so not okay with that. Well, but really, I couldn't have done it because I was like, Lens, because I was going to cosplay Lens on Wednesday for this new live stream. By the way, this live won't stop for a long time. I don't know how where it stop right now. I don't know. I want to continue for a moment, a good moment. But so this is not canceling the Saturday live. Just it will be another show on Wednesday, which will be different. Like I told you guys, it's Lens, but it's not about just Voltron. It's about any type of thing. It's like Lens hosting a radio show, and Lens is a really energetic character, even more than Eren. So it wouldn't have worked, even if I forced myself to do it because not forced in a bad way, but forced because I wasn't feeling good. I was really sick. Um, I would have because I'm really stubborn. I'm really, really stubborn, and I really wanted to do it because it would make me happy. I love doing those kind of things, and I was excited because it was the first lens one, tea with lens thing. I was so, so, so excited. I was in cosplay. I stayed in cosplay for most of the afternoon trying to get the energy. I did one TikTok, I tried to do another one, and I couldn't do it. It took me a lot of tries, and I couldn't do it. I was like, what the hell's going on with me? My energy was like this, so low that I had trouble walking, almost fainted. But yeah, just it's in the past. I'm trying to get better now, and I'm better right now because I'm here and I can talk normally and be okay. So yeah, it wouldn't have worked. I wanted to force myself to do it because I really wanted to do it and I wanted to be there for you. But I got it at towards the end. I was like, yeah, even if I do it, it will be horrible, and I want it to be a good experience for everyone. So yeah, I just wanted to open up about it. Uh, I'm excited for Wednesday too because I'm really excited about being Lance and telling you all this stuff and sharing with you and giving some advice if I can. Uh, I have some questions. I hope they're still okay waiting for next Wednesday, but I'm going to answer all of them. And I have some topics I want to talk about and stuff, and you suggest me things if you want, okay? So yeah, and thank you. You all sweet with me. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Love you all. Yeah. Ellie, Eren is energetic. I'm not as energetic right now because I told you I'm still a bit tired, but I hope I'm okay right now. I hope it's okay for you. But Lance is another story. He's like, Eren will be like this, Lance is like this, energetic. So it's different energy. It's different. Yeah, I hope it will be. I'm really excited. I've been preparing it for a moment already. Oh, you won't get the answers. Wait, I don't understand. You can go on YouTube for Wednesday live. If you have a really important question you want me to answer, please send it to me on Instagram in DM, please. Because if it's important, it's okay that I don't do it in the show. I just want to help. It's not for the thing. I can say it in the live too afterward, but if you need an answer, uh, I'll try to answer either tonight or tomorrow. Well, today for me, but after sleeping. Yeah, thank you very much, Holly and Becca, for being there as always, doing all the moderating stuff, which is a lot. So thank you very much to you guys. Thank you so much for being there. And yeah, everyone stay healthy, please. Yes, same. Thank you, Isabel. Love you. Oh, thank you, same. You're all amazing, and thank you so much for staying with me and having some time with me. It's like this moment, I missed it so much last Saturday because it's like really, even if most of the time I'm reading and stuff, it's one of my social moments, if I can say. Even if I talk to my friends and stuff, but I really love talking and being there with you, reaching out and stuff. That's so cool, and I really missed it. I was so used to it by now. It's been months that I do that now. So I missed it a lot, and I'm so happy. I wasn't sure I could be there right now because how low and stuff I was, but I was so relieved yesterday when I started feeling, a little bit better. And then today too, I was like, okay, I can do it. I'll be able to do it. So I was really, really happy. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'll tell you all good night, or good morning, or good afternoon, whatever is it for you. And I'll see you on Wednesdays once I want to watch it. Like I said before, I prefer to repeat it just in case. The Lens show won't be just about Voltron. Of course, it'll be the character from Voltron, and I would talk maybe sometimes a little bit about the show if people have question about it, or I mean, it's not really about it. So mostly, I don't think there will be question about it. Just me um, answering your advice. I mean, your question if you need any advice from me, which I'll try to do everything to make the best advice I can because I really want to help. And yeah, it's just going to be about anything, just like Lance is a normal character that could be human in real life and be doing a show, so it won't be about Voltron. Of course, I will be in character and everything, but that won't be just about, like, this live stream is about Levi and Eren and stuff. But really, this other show is supposed to be with for everyone. I just wanted to say it again. But yeah, I hope you like it, and I hope to see you on Wednesday if you're interested in it, or at Saturday, next Saturday, if you're only coming or only available at that time to be on the Levi X Eren fanfiction reading time. And I think we'll continue that fanfiction next time if you want. Please tell me, actually comment after it's post if you want the rest of the story or if you prefer to read another story. So just tell me. Yeah, also, um, wait, sorry, I think something moved suddenly. So I love you all, and thank you very much. Love you. Whoops.